say Jumedino ana Uguswa Utino. Game Park, Yamama Kwaba, Game Park, and it is Sikane Bemampa. Eti ukura sikane dia na chese ukura tumi ankasa. Game Park for cow say one multiply effect no ebe mo ni agi abroso. Eti ene dia almost say ade ba kwese hu say Ghana your newest lottery game draw abaye live on Adum TV no nkono promoto na afi no nsia bo de biada na de ahihye so e de amawo mamema kwa abefa so abetima ye nkunifo no anya mfa so kama na de ujuma de biada no na siri ahye wafunu mu ma ene se ofa phone na tablet na computer na download the Game Park games no on app Play Store na no achi no so no Abiana pese okon website na kodi se adwuma na www.gameparkgames.com na afi opeso so anu dial *946# all networks one say and you be choose 4 numbers 0 to 9 4 numbers very easy to play and to win. The Game Park for sure mo catch one say one will multiply effect be a ultra 20 all the time say no nya sika kese me chese mfaso e ba hono one kasa obaji atum one wo eye straight sets bi honum 2 straight 3 straight nyina so honum e kasa nhihye no say the be a udi unkunim no ultra 20 series no na sa multiply effect udi di juma na e bo ama sika do so no unya mfaso kese pa Game Park se menka say the more ultra no the more na unya sika the more na unya power so Game Power, one Jumedi, is regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Anafe Mekaz as a unimru a year in fear a dungotria or Dharma Mfao Game Park Limited, a year Lotto Fufra Bejaswa Ebwa Amene Yenijetime Dimu na ewi a year payo. I think Mohammed Abekam in Sawa Adam say miracles Abuaji Baba na face Dr. Chum Berryman so Eba Bekayan sa Tika Kwaba.
Me jusu me.
Na hoye. Over the weekend we be come out to Kwana.
Oh, men to Kwan economy I didn't say we don't to Kwan.
Oh, that's a country there. We are there. Who responsible Gambaga overco.
Oh, as Kennedy to Kwan and Kanka Republic Hodia as Kennedy to Kwan. But
Chumsi brand Simon.
Okay.
Yeah, Chumsi brand Simon. Okay.
Yeah. Ana udia o mine no nyadim.
I mean me call na hu hia se me call eye
nsebi. Wa yi ma no. Me si ana o mine no emu nyadim ma.
Asitinem kura nya o mine no. Asitinem me am personal economy no. As no call the big economy no.
Say no, it is, you see it is a microeconomics. Like individual economy who aggregate here, then you get the macroeconomy.
But you still have to manage and go.
Managing the manage, but go on and minko.
I do how manage all kinds of
because our mind my brutal. And you know, it has found expression in
the understatement.
Oh yes,
how can say o mine mo dear. Abruso.
I mean that's a better way to put it. And I think Kenya finds proper expression in the presentation of the finance minister no no. But you become once.
Okay.
Maybe say we you do pempen so be we need some magic.
Here magic.
Oh yeah, here magic. And baby a way is even better compared to if we hadn't taken certain decisions. Yankwa IMF, you can imagine what would have happened. IMF mponi you. Yakwa IMF mponi to help stabilize the economy. Mponi you. Imagine anka yankwa IMF. Anka Ghana would be considered one of the failed states. No, anka yani baby I ye quick cry for example. Asian country, Eastern, I think it's an Eastern Asian or Western Asian country. They had similar economic situation as Ghana. And I'm Sukrama, your stage coup. They ousted the president. I'm trying to.
Omoko take you over.
Yes, exactly. Indonesia never been Indonesia. Oh. It's here for Mutia Munkai, sa country. No. Anka, if we hadn't gone to IMF, Anka would be in a similar crisis. Because with IMF in some semi-cry, the recovery is super sluggish. So be economic culture of recovery is sluggish. Just it's just better than not making a movement, but there is still a great deal of inertia. What must say? Yeah, bibi dear, but yanko BBI, yanko BBI. Well, Ebimaka say, if you look at the rate of inflation, Eswati from around 50% to 40%. But that is, we're merely getting to the levels, similar levels in 2022. By October 2022, now I'm 40.2%. And if we are around 40%, just even though it's a slight improvement, by if your inflation, the general rate at which I amount for tonema, 40%, Masa, it tells you, say, the value of real incomes, Eswati Papa. What you must say, and now Deputy Minister Bitiha, my increasing leap from 45 to 90. In real terms, it's even way less compared to what they were receiving. 45, no, is when you account for inflation. Maybe at the time, na mutual 45, inflation was 18%. What you must say? So here, 90%, and inflation is around 50%. But the real value of that, the real value of that transfer, no, is way less compared to when they were receiving 45 cedis at an inflation of 18%. No, what is it? And in real terms, no, when you actually, they are actually even worse off than they were. And you take the absolute figure and say, dear, but sebi, you are speaking to Ghana for. Yamvan say now okay to year 2000, and at the time, inflation was say 10%. What you say? And your income no 2000 could afford you 10 pairs of shoes. Hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, two market.
Yeah, two market you.
Shoes
Exactly, because inflation no bona kosro. And you kwayana as buy. If the absolute value of your income might have, the nominal value might have increased, but in real terms, no income no eswati enko baby I. Now
say a reflective I say can go beyond 10.
Absolutely.
I mean about 11 and at 12 be.
We should not just be throwing nominal figures and claims over here.
Those figures and you're encouraging enough.
They are not, because welfare of recipients, and shall improve here. Because whatever increase gets whittled away by the effects of inflation. And in real terms, the transfer, the value of the transfer is way lower compared to when it was 45 cedis at lower inflation rate. And but and there are other issues, baby. Look, you say you tears man no. Midase.
You need common Abiana. No, maybe she boy but
baby, but answer me sure say. But I'm just trying to Abi, when we get into the full details of the statement he presented, I'm happy to say he didn't submit a supplementary budget. Now, what he did was just to present to us a review of budgets now Omudi can present here performance so far. And usually when you present your budget in November, you don't have the full complement of the data, because fiscally and you don't have the entire data for all the indicators. Into inflation, say mostly you give the update up to the third quarter and all other indicators for that matter. Until we had, review you when you present the review statement now. Now I'm a by the end of the fiscal year, this is how this indicator performed, and so on and so forth. Until sometimes it's just to educate us to know the state of the economy. Now, many just say one fa bibian kokahu, but idea a hard drink across on the say. What him say, you was had to be largely because of the excessive borrowing. Yeah. Car yako boy, and nuna Eddie uncle do sa pempensui. But I was expecting say Sri Lanka. Thank you, Midasi. That is Sri Lanka. Until I am a free cry yako no, and nuna boy and yes I didn't trust Sri Lanka for baby omudrian. Say a kabui and a kabo way and a busia bow way. Idea if you don't keep it in range. Edi or how kesiye neighbor. What must say? Edi or how kesiye pa neighbor. Na when him say ene meetie the presentation, and like I said, before we get into the fuller details, idea a hard drink a cranise. Wouldn't say still a bobisia. Yeah, because we spoke about fiscal consolidation, yet we keep borrowing. Idea and Kodus happen. We are doing the very things that got us into the ICU in the first place. Let's just say, Shadam Suya Numa Bibri, and I and Shadam Suya and Yansa Bibri from the very things we did that got us into the economic ICU. Yedasu yeah. And I feel, say, for us to be able to get ourselves out of this, Finance Minister Eka said, "Oh, we've achieved some stability." And like I said, the recovery is sluggish, extremely sluggish. Exchange rate almost is stabilized. It's not necessarily. Well, it still fluctuates, even though within a certain band, but the rate still fluctuates between the 10-12 band. 11 point BB, a bedroom 12 now, but it still oscillates between sub band. Not just even though you can say there is some slight stability, but it's stable per se. But what I want to see is beyond the marginal stability, and I don't even want to call it stability because it might meet Johnny boom, and it stays so for a while. And Sana Eswati Nasa and the stability no crime shut down and
let's admit that stability, even though it's stable, no, but still.
No, well, within the band 10-12 band, but I'm saying if your exchange, if your currency is trading for $1 at almost 11, let's say over the period, let's average it to 11 cedis per dollar. Now this is how much are $1 at? How do you think your business is going to survive? Until I am expecting, by now, Nanka, yesidino, yebehu say, na hondino, man hoso. And you would see, and once your currency begins to gain strength, what that means is that it translates into lower exchange rates against your major trading currencies. Nanka eso tika krakakra ba 7. The minister made the point that now businesses can plan. How can you plan at this exchange rate?
Because it makes it businesses to plan.
How can you plan at this exchange rate?
He admits so. So it makes it difficult for businesses.
No, okay, I said now they can plan.
No, okay. Ken and I said doctor.
No, Mika Ken.
Oh, okay.
Also, on your minister, on your deputy minister, I would have been. Also, now businesses can plan. How can you plan with this, fluctuating exchange rate? First, it is not stable, like in the stricter sense of the word stable. And secondly, so it was rudodo. Okoport says here, it's technically empty. What is here?
It's a challenge there.
It's a big challenge. It tells you, and 2 years after COVID, we are still struggling. It tells you, economy is not on the path as the picture was presented to us today. We may say that to, excite ourselves, but the truth is that and I expect a lot more work to be done, especially on the fiscal side. Now, Unim say there is BBI friend fiscal dominance. When you begin to use when the fiscal side and our fiscal policy makers begin to use their policies to interfere in the management of monetary policy, and once and so also, fiscal dominance took the form of, say, when the central bank decides to, use their instruments like open market operations, for example, say, or move term treasury bills and as if for just to mop up excess liquidity in circulation. Government was using our open market operations as a way to raise money to support budget. Until you beton treasury bills, ne disikano edi supporting budget. Now fiscal dominance is taking a different dimension altogether. Unim says haircuts are Ken for Eddie Mayan through DDEP. Unim says SSCI is creating ripples for the central bank. Now they according to the governor, says they've recorded losses to the tune of 5.5 billion. And yet Sikakuma, largely because of the haircuts they also suffered, because they also float instruments, almost instruments in the securities market. What am I saying? Now, Obia enya haircutter, everybody affect you. And the banks that agreed to participate in DDEP, the central bank had to redefine or more capital adequacy ratios, as a way of exciting them to be part of that program. When you now edika a brain central bank, says a central bank ebre all because of the fiscal decisions are Ken and Crop for take here. And look, we seem to be recycling the problem. Yeah, free muye. Because now you claim, oh, DDP bought you some time, it bought you some respite. Because now now you've created even a bigger debt for the central bank. Almost it will take them all the way to 2027 for them to be able to raise their liquidity position up to the level a war before Moody's has a year. Let's just say so. It's like Hunam Yaoya and Autina Yaoya. Now work with Charles Wonsa so that for some few minutes no tipai no beko form. Because if you inside the you can manage, you can still move. But forgetting say no, it works with every other part of your body. Until we say yeah we are enche utikura be start pie will be some other parts of your body will begin to ache as a result of that cut now. What am I say? Until we are still in a mess. And the picture that was presented, I think in reality, yes, I need it. But like I said, I've been with you. Futu the MC and Yadum from the Yejuma. Oh, I'm from Yejuma. What must I say? And says, yeah, all we can do is to hope. I mean, twiddle our thumbs and wait and see what is going to happen. Because if Futu and I, the mom say, men, yes, no. Okay, yes, oh, Sabi, they know what they are doing. Ombeyama, whatever outcome they are intending to achieve, but a lot of the time, outcomes now, any outcomes are ebwaying. And I would have thought, say, baby, you agree to the extent that we had to go to the IMF. Newman be one kebisya a yikakra. And which are the biabapa. And I am not seeing any relief in sight. Minyan who say, maybe by the end of this fiscal year, young Ben Harrier, I am not seeing that happening. Because Ushakra driving complaints about revenue shortfalls. Nyoma Bibri. Now revenue. Mbasro. Now so your expenditure is going up. And my TBB, Deputy Minister Hanum, okay, about planting for food and jobs phase 2.
Phase 2.
Phase 1 crying Hosuna phase 2. What happened to the phase 1? Tell me, what are the tangible outcomes of the phase 1? Say, see, food inflation is one of the biggest drivers of overall inflation in this country. Now, planting for food and jobs, anka ebua yama eduani buya, anka the cost of eduani cost rusa the general levels of prices ebe cost. And this phase 1 ya hoswa, phase 2 then ebe. But I want to say we sank a lot of money into that phase 1, and yes, kuma na edi shame. And you don't there's a mismatch between the investment we did and the outcomes we got. And one would have thought, say, look, Adiwe, look, in policy formulation, there's always they call it a policy cycle. Policy be our cycle. We start these are the objectives. These are the objectives are your war. Then you take the views and the demands of the population. We want food security. In this case, that's the main objective. That's the demand of the population. We want food security. So that the prices of food be that's the demand of the people. Then the political class will take that demand and synthesize it into a policy. Because it has to go through the executive arm and so on and so forth. Now bear policy. Then they implement it. But who implement you monitor to see program na policy na ye de abano. Effect na ye pese ye nya no enu na ye nya ya na. Until when you monitor and you realize the implementation no baby atuchima, then through a process called feedback. Now, if Ghanaians like the outcomes are not exactly as you expected, no, through the monitoring process, you get a feedback. Then you re-inform the policy, and in some cases, reviewing the policy means terminating the entire policy altogether. That's a way, so meanwhile, this is be Ekosiisen. Yes, the phase 2 phase 1 cradena yama and phase 2. Nini nazo Ekosiisen. And it is all about the higher expenditures. If you are in crisis, there are two things you do. Either you increase your revenue or you cut down your expenditure. Revenues are not going up. And it's a challenge. Even though innovations be about, you see, they've digitized some of the revenue collection arrangements, no. But still, so the best thing in this crisis situation, no, is to be reasonable and to moderate our expenditures. But try BB in the first time, and Shadam why instead of us to be careful, no, and maybe try another approach. There's Yamva phase 2 mbra, and also every policy comes with cost. And so phase 2 say this sika eshemubiem. What must say? Sika no efrihin eba.
Okay. So
what must say? So this is just by way of preliminary comments.
One of our regular listeners, Ebusa question, say, is it not true that LEAP and all other things they spoke about have been increased? Is it not true?
Did he listen to what I was saying?
Is it not true that inflation has reduced from around 50% to about 40%? Is it not true?
We achievement.
It is not. You see, that's the challenge. It is not about who clarify say a achievement or otherwise. Is it true that is the state now? If it is yes, then we can talk about maybe a pace. I will expect to say but you cannot jump and say all these things the ministry can and then reflect.
I was talking about real value of the transfers. And I'm saying when you take the nominal value from 45 to 90, that's about 100% increase. And yes, sir.
So what is the
value of the 90%?
Still.
Exactly. I'm talking about the real value of the transfers. I'm not saying the nominal increases in Yanukre.
Okay,
there are some other issues on still on this statement.
Okay.
These were just general comments.
Come on.
Since I want to say I was a good student, I'm still maintaining my good student.
What's your candonka?
I'm friend and line but there but uncle.
Mr. Matrais,
I'm sure to be an putting off
arrested. Chairman Kukufuka so correct to be sure say we are
something
Asaki
or
see where Asaki pictures in you some Asaki pictures were graduate and you'll be the bit me Akakan oh yeah Jumana Kusuku and Yano and some Asaki Mamencia with the edition of the Kofa a tiki so me refim of Fachemi some Asaki and nay or born homody Yakasam Asaki a wingo better. Apart from say all vice obenya kwanya sabidi PNC amanyu kurenim as flag bearer no or ye executive secretary Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana ene wotimi APM free a year Maritime University wabon homodin inti Asaki mfo nyare by the say no say the oche de o president mu a o na ma o chacha eti correlations Asaki correlations wabo homodin pa nti wo kan kwa de intempa memfa me ofase de ensoso lo ampacho meba
no
memfa me ofase de ensoso na no me ho akodim kakra o de ene echina na oje di me vasoso ono so obono modin we Coventry University.
That's my school.
Emmanuel Emmanuela Sapoma Boatima. Degree of Master of Business Administration with distinction.
That's awesome.
Petroleum Economics and Finance. Yes, that's we work with him. Said we see that we work with him. Anyway, what share ni munyamba. Coventry no.
So I want to make
school. Oh, okay.
I want to be a law degree in T.
Oh, okay. It's Emmanuel. When you lawyer wow. Emmanuel Sapoma Boating.
That's so bad.
Okay. All right. It's
so fast no.
More fast.
Very good.
Bibiani obenya kwenya ba. Bibiani obenya kwenya ba ba show. Nti Asaki dia na ba. Okohwe Asaki. Samson Asaki a wingo bit. I think when the one I was able to me mobile who nipa oye. No. Executive Secretary, Importers and Exporters. Chum. Uni other picture be all. We are no. We go back. And so who's on the back was him.
Second degree.
Whatever. manager specific on the matter.
Oh man, what can do?
We see on an NTS. Lawyer, no say masters. Very important. Yeah, it will say
masters in there.
Maritime.
Talk of maritime, definitely.
No, some maritime school, but one purpose.
There's also a super breaking down about the Asaki correlations. Correlations. Chum to the pictures each day. We were a lawyer for sure. Hey, Asaki one with you. Yaba back. Anyway. So, lawyer, we show no more when you ask a question.
Yeah. And I probably make our YouTube, and I think I'll say it here again. So Bible say nipa won kwana wade nyina. So the moment I will cry before himself, na say the born nipa na ato. Won hye no nsusu no bibia na abawie prekope. Obra wo mo ho. Na so nyame de Nyankopon ase so do mo nkwache mo no ankasa na driver and personal security. Ani impo the other opponent car na ade wo mbehia ye no. And so many pan so far we any serious casualty bia we so more prepared to wo bi emfremu ma. So mo so Nyankopon mo nyina nkwa ho ban na then for cranch on more one idea, it did more safata. Now, Hotom, almost as a Yankopon. Sorry, I really was in Maria and Chancoma on air, TFY, and Gibraltar. Now, how many kinds of questions? And I could for the banner, or this is what the country when the national anthem was played. No, they apology letter by. None of you had a matriarch season. One drama. None of you had a matriarch season. So on drum master. President, it is more than a week, right?
Oh, Debbie, oh, no, we are just asking.
The following day,
so the point is,
so especially when
has the president spoken to it?
On can I was just asking because
no down if you that make
but maybe that's one never find can you will never hear the speaking about that ill act of her daughter. Sorry, his daughter. On can be. And a bedroom na ya enu biara in the kind of remorse being free in the bad home iron. Obviously, never possible any beer, so I will be that pompous lifestyle will be into one year, no problem. Yeah, say before we see that I never back as a room or Casa answer do more ever. Am I? Yeah, we understand. And now say more, most plenty for food and job, second phase.
A Ghana deal, she said, the magazine must say, Eba.
Second phase.
2021,
I buy spend 439 million Ghana cedis. 2022 was spent 614 million Ghana cedis. 23 was so the national projected the 616 na become. Amane. Some policy na see ya so chiraka see pa na say aban se obema odiska kwhye nuane duamu am nuane abuso ne busu ya nam so de nwuma eden aba sa asgere no mewa aduane busu ane boye den ba choma bisa question kakra wadaroma
aduane de se busu na ne de boye den
nti aduane busu na se ne bo ntimi nya den mewa nti se aduane busu na ne bo ntimi nya den dia mebusa simple question mebusa ni a year on the 10th Monday 10th of October 2022 the date na maboni Monday 10th October 2022 Ghana were had a story by through World Bank. Now say World Bank declare Ghana say Ghana has the highest food inflation in Africa and we are ranked by 122% in sub-Saharan Africa in the year 2022. Omai ya disika tutu dia mabobodin wa ha kire wi ewura nuane duamu se nuane muso ebusu no emfa nwuma nso mra ana waduane bootimi ye densin Africa mamu ha nyina nkro bia wokrom Africa nyina from Atifi to South Africa apoye kopmato ye Ghana ayo manya the western part of the Africa no na duane board densin wo man biara wa Africa as at October 2022 afemai meanwhile before that time so who sika me board just about the ewura mu to wait through say There be as there na point because this country we don't have leaders. You see it. Under this government there is no leadership. We have people who are, fronting, but there's no leaders, or there are no leaders. Leader niya. All right, there are no leaders in this country. There's no leader. Because so what leadership was here? We say we sit down and so I do not say now. So what do you want to do? Obviously, it tells you, say, it's possible maybe you be number one, or number two. The kind of impact in say, so why are you still pushing money? A very simple question. We win by me degree be now common sense. You could do ebuso. We are planting for food. You could do nyaba. Nya neba actually we are I was enuma so eta actually. Ana ni nyina actually yatam sika twitwi di antisi akowura mu no. Yaduane bo okromu ane bo de Africa mem ha nyina echen Nigeria, echen Togo, echen Benin, echen Niger, echen Burkina, obia aduane bo ofo sen Ghana. Tiwe obi ti ba bi bo ne ho samana ne se wono di bibi echen sen aba obi nya ebida. Wo mu ni o. Enese budget nse akenkan media review so de ho sem ba me kan paragraph bi na mame mo ho tew enfema ho o say Mr. Speaker, although pension funds were, that is paragraph 56, although pension funds were exempted from the main DDEP, we continue to engage them. As about where you continue to put Opa bang ba kwa wo ye kuntum punya banya it is a yesa ba umia kufu ado banya. Why am I saying this? Good. Didn't make us in your mind. Why exempting me? Everyone need one mum be wutum. Why are you engaging me? Men can the engagement down for what reason?
So it's a challenge.
Oh, you are engaging me on what? Ye be you quine. After what media manuha. It's ye engage you on more quine ye no some more office. And that the bear affect you to be or take the next way. And then we each one come on mine. Why exempted from that? Who engages on the dear one anybody?
Definitely the canon.
Make you Yaba. What's the way we are exempted? It's not count. No be a non count now. What's the Gusun in the engagement and every year? No, as a said, they would not parliament. I walk at a gun for say, who goes you engage Atik? No, who engage Atik? The young man and India. Why and I make a way new book in common sense for the market. This is just common sense. And moving for books and be another. You make book long and be a young for finance and Yajima, young cook and Japan stand. Was one book long, or young for common sense and Yajima. Common sense in the maybe with this simple and question. 2 degrees to change. Yan school Yakobi. You could be still young. Yan for common sense, finance and Yajima. Adia main kahono. But na president for circle and some kwan. O mine. Mo ye be engage mo. Ungo ba ho bia ho de engagement dey. So you are indirectly telling us say akonta gina ye na bia na menyanche amasa ba ho. That is the meaning. Or that is the inference we can draw from Sasi Bentina I'll make in that paragraph na me kan zi achara. That is the inference we can draw from. So it's possible a pension fund win out no sabeka. What is it? It's possible say win out no sabeka pension fund. Because I won't say pension fund. The other question is, why are you still engaging the pension fund holders or whatever, or beneficiaries, or then the other goes to engage you? The rationale behind that engagement in the one trim in your paragraph. So what is the rationale? What is the rationale? Am I? What the two are? Wouldn't say because I buy say, and they are not some back over council. You say, on my growth rate, no, or drop to 1 point something, 1.5 was the same. Where? Also, they buy a CIA, I can say a year 2.8
That's the target.
What they back the target, the next target here 1.5.
That's more realistic.
Me pacho, me bisa question kere wadaroma. E di even say growth rate. Na so mining ni na so mining put me bo ana. Na anye bia na wadaroma ye nyi ko enim anase ye nyi ko kire. Ye ko enim.
Bet ma ka bi.
Nya botan sa dem ba. We na me ka say na me fa bukulon se bia ma adwuma. Ye be ye common sense no mo. Ye nyi ko enim. Ti ade na abenti na fa de ye free 1.2.8 na about 1.5. Eno so ye nim ko no bia na. Ana no ye ko achi. One thing that happens, so drop growth rate say there's a likelihood of so we create unemployment. Because system will become a way be say one more say financial me fa because bia na be nkoye. Am I if you watch na pa. Abroso enunsia anapa. Na petrol ni atom. Ti super 1 liter be ko 13 point something 0.5 or so per liter. Or can go 14 for no. Ni nyina achi na aban sese waye ni yie ntiam yensem ma no. Kai hu so bra no offer no na nuru 4 cities. Obeso mu no. Competent ones ne bae no obeso mu no. Na nuru 4 cities. Competent ones ne bae no befa inflation na na obisi na 50 na about 40 something tin ye ntu sere ngwo mo so no. Na ye 15%. Ahon na ye the incompetent level na anaba omia bodin e de lectures no e ukrom ha no. Eno na 15% no. And the competent Messiah Baumia at one as the leader no of the EMT no. You're now 40 something percent to almost 50%. Or so I born whom more than
Ghana what assign reasons now. Won't you mean compare situations too no?
Reason
assign them.
Whatever. Reason it be the same.
Assign those reasons and
reason it be the same.
No, me no me ya dream. As for me, the downward revision of the target in there, it makes sense to me.
Oh, Nyabotre.
Because you keep it at 2.8.
It is making sense to you because no all dream one more than achieve 2.8 no. Well, abaning one number.
But are you truthful to you say me more than bon timi no some
This is a government or mine. Sure. Ko check the growth rate at the time of NDC John Mahama time na saying. But they saw everything wrong with everything that was going on in the country when it comes to economics.
Exactly what you are doing.
Management. No. I'm not doing the exact. I'm telling you that they made us understood. Said that was a wrong level to be. And that is how come the current president, when he was then a candidate in 2016, around September, tweeted, said, it is as a result of bad leadership. And the man walk about until we know $1 now cost sound. But then 3 cities 47.
So you're pointing to that fact, say, bad leadership.
Son no my tears. No Martin.
But I'm saying that you're pointing to that fact, say bad leadership.
Because and they quite the bad. A worse leadership. Bad is even better than worse. And then a worse leadership, a leadership without direction. Because we don't have leadership, any leader in this country.
What has gone into the worst leadership? No,
everything has gone into it. Because nothing seems to be functioning regularly in this country under this government. Let's take the things one after the other. Your debt to GDP was around 57%. And then I'm saying, but this government, Baumia said that level na namono. You try epic level. Now you were hemic. Was heavily indebted middle income countries one or not the Ukrainian. At that time, I have the tweet here. I can read it to you. It's then papa. So Ghanaians should look up to them. We make one more tweets in the back. Na e ade ana me de baba betwe gina baby e Bank of Ghana for nsema na menu e ka bi. But before se me do no. Your inflation na 15%. These two gentlemen saw everything wrong with say inflation in the 15% and yet so they got their candidates and co to form the even from example Occupy Ghana to demonstrate that we are experiencing bad leadership in this country. Now best people no anyone Tombo most say we are the best managers of the economy and you think when we are two worst managers there say we man ki aton o man ya tom na me no ka say Bank of Ghana say waboka ogusu boka ko na me kan wo mo statement na man un ma de ba ko say mo boka pa currency depreciation A Hong Kong boka 5.27 billion cedis. Tenio. And I pay yes the mechanic. Bank of Ghana say boka 5.27 billion cedis. And on quite as a result of currency depreciation. I wonder because I say I'm back actually we. Tie. Nana Akufo-Addo. This is on the 8th of August 2016. Proud to just some few months of elections. Tie Nana Akufo-Addo no masem. Was say the MBB will stabilize the currency exchange rate through prudent and disciplined macroeconomic management. Simple. Prudent and disciplined macroeconomic management. Can you say the reckless governance lifestyle we live in? Is this called prudent? Can we attribute this style of governance led by Akufo-Addo and Mahomiano as a prudent management? It can never be one in this world. Now, on we and as well, ne twice, and so nemu on the end by December. December 5th, 2016, that same year. Ghana deserves better. That is the hashtag of Bawumia. Ghana deserves better. Not high interest rates. And that check one Google phone see about interest rate on banks loans. Check it. Ghanaians deserve better. Bawumia no masam no. Not high interest rates. Ne boss say one the prudent economic macroeconomic management systems never stabilize the currency. Or not to see we deserve better, not high interest rates, not high taxes. Interest rate high taxes and depreciation of our currency. And depreciation of our currency, which are collapsing businesses. This is Bawumia for you. Alright? And the depreciation of the currency now my Bank of Ghana bought 5.something billion. The Messiah is still around. The economic the whiskey does one or perambulating around the country. So of a presidential candidate, the Ghana for him. Adanya no vision. May God have mercy on us. Or no vision. But will be many DMRM. Peniso will be the year now the and Penny say I'm full of children to us. So Bawumia, I'm full in ye. Currency depreciation now was so bad. You deserve what's no. Now we deserve better than that. And under your tenure and your leadership. Yes, President, and I'm sure Bank of Ghana now here in Nesika Samson.
Bawumia is the vice president. Don't address him as a president.
Okay.
Get it straight. He's the vice president.
Matthias,
don't address him as the president of the land.
Was saying, I know you can say, was say, I have contested Mahama twice. Or no, was you contested Mahama twice? I can twice. The answer to contest me.
But so you say factual.
Na me am kan here. I never was say. No, say you can hear can say. Never was say.
And yet sanity.
Na to say.
But only Mahama contest.
Now when I can hear.
No, put it right.
Put it right. Or no, put it right.
Debbie. I'm saying that.
That's what the man said.
We're going to back and forth. Once we are doing it, so no. Sabi what quote to never be a bribi and all pay to me. No, maybe o Gina Hockey can say, really, yes, the papa, and you win yes, or no, Bassa, the papa, no, says Sefatano. After the issue, you're going to chikura. It did not buy any money, and not mom and see, and not sure that man has still not learned anything in this country. If I'm to go by what you are saying now, so indeed, in reality, he has not contested Mahama. In fact, when President Mahama was even responding, I say, I mean, in the contest, never mean that I can, because on the abatok event, what do you call it? Ballot. Yes. Ballot paper. So, I'm not missing the abatos. I'm in the Siaka. Now, the million in Siaka. So, we say that we can be so many years I can print, watch them print. So, exactly. But I know just one will share for you. He is still in the spirit of lying. A throne on the Guzudio. He can't stop. Only Sakraya. Because my so on Sakraya, never went some amount Trambu Kakarabiso actually in Nampodio. Baba Akuman Pempo Matranaka. I want to say Nina Kotia ne.
Any rational thinking human being in this country knows that you were not honest with your words and you have been very dishonest, extremely dishonest as a vice president. And Kawo Kasa Behi Kawo make it be very careful. Say no, they not can be about you. South Sudan no watching. You said it. I didn't say that. You cited the then IGP, my boss, David Asantia Pietri. He was the then IGP. What's the key amano? So fancy. Dollar in PB. Where are we today? Something which was around 4 cities. It's now around 12 cities. And now about 200% increase. Oh my. No, even 300% increase by number. What is that? So, yes, 4 times 3 and 12. So it's about 300% increase. And then, yet this man is still going around and talking and lying at the same time. Okojinako, Uncle Casamientia, Oma Yere acquaintance a bambia in the history of Ghana since Kwame Nkrumah days. Hey, and to what you want to Nkrumah to what's the idea? The time now walk as no mine. Railway line from Accra to Kumasi Yadima. Anyone put there's nothing called even a railway line from Accra to Kumasi, which was there in the 90s. Railway line from Accra to Takoradi is no more. But you came to meet it. When you need it's here the answer say train can make one when you be who ye. And you will be a money. But you are so proud and bold to stand on a political platform to say that this government that you are part of, railway lines more than any government in the history of Ghana. That was his words. Where do you read from? What's your money for you? Are you looking at the Ghana from a different planet or the same Ghana in that? It's serious. So in summary, what I would say is that this man has not learned anything, number one, and he's not ready to learn anything, number two. That's why he's still in the spirit of lying. Oh, nyai. Near channel says to me, no, Nansan can we, man, and count the opening way. I don't know, you know, ba. A home and then the Sinkunya, Elkruma. Near Sinin Samin Yakuso. At the Atlano. No beginning Markuma winning.
Not you, that's mess about just in NHIS reduces claims payment backlog to just 1 month. The National Health Insurance Authority has made additional payments of 186 million Ghana cedis to credential healthcare service providers. The July 31, 2023 payments has reduced to just 1 month debt owed to credentialed healthcare service providers. Prior to this latest payment, the authority paid 471 million Ghana cedis in June to cover claims submitted for up to January 23. The authority now makes monthly payments to service providers whose claims have been vetted and approved. These prompt payments to healthcare providers have increased their confidence and trust in the NHIA. The authority is committing to attaining 100% electronic claims management by the end of the year 2023. The essence is to eliminate wastage and ensure prudent use of available resources to provide the best healthcare services to NHIS members and surely renew the government's confidence in the NHIA's fiscal discipline. As a result of the rapid claims payments, the authority launched a platform known as Sunshine Policy to deepen accountability, transparency, and social auditing. Since its launch in March 2023, suppliers of drugs to healthcare facilities and other stakeholders are able to log onto NHI's website with privileged access to view payments made to deserving facilities. The highest level of transparency has won the admiration of healthcare managers as a critical innovation. Access to view monthly payments under the Sunshine Policy on the NHI's website has been given to all stakeholders, with the latest being all regional ministers through Honorable Justina Owusu-Banaine, Bono Regional Minister. The Chief Executive, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, has confirmed that the key traditional rulers will also be given access to view claims paid us to deepen their ownership, involvement, and advocacy for the scheme. And that's coming from the National Health Insurance Scheme. And I'm there to join it. For such a great job, Ekosiisen. Dr. Koboy, good evening. Your good job. Ghana for Ehu Nti Yadasi. Office of the Registrar of Companies in Zukoso Kai was a brainer society say bomo homodia na o file your annual returns and I say renew a year of business. Nti omokoso kai was say entwen en ma penalty ne ma na wakotua na afi o kasa na nsem na kwa bebre. Ene de o ma ni tiama say wonim say we school we are sorry we are situation we union foundation civil society organization partnership adwumakuo bia no either you are renewing your business or filing your annual returns. It's very important. Yet na emo adwuma na nkasa ntimi nkonkan na entumpon maybe bia na pese uti renew business o business need no diary short code *222# na if you follow prompt no na we make payment on the ghana.gov.gh payment platform no at a fee of 60 Ghana cedi per year. Kaihunu say the renewal of a partnership echo 90 Ghana cedi. Professional bodies also who renew each professional member of their professional body. The fee is 30 Ghana cedi annually. For Office of the Registrar of Companies on 0302 666 081. And I said WhatsApp on Kwabetim dia fa live so 055 765 3130 na watimi ni wana kasa. Udi on social media at ORC Ghana and also one website on Muswa www.orc.gov.gh na watimi ni one edi inkita Office of the Registrar of Companies say boamu na omuntimi ensumu yi na bibia enkokama erenim se nemna for Dr. Festus Ewuakofi mrashebedwanima Upper Denchira East ono so beba beka enuanom nsa wa ha na etimetua yenkomo 32 after 5 atikare bibi wa pesa okana ozeni
when it comes to the debt, public debt developments you see, sometimes facts and data, and especially economic data, you can twist them anyhow to suit your circumstance. And the Minister of Finance or Minister for Finance, in presenting the media review, has not told us. He presented us at November last year. Almost presenting Fiscal, they presented data of public debt up to September 2022, and yes, sir. And that it represented about 23%, increase over the preceding year. And if you take the debt level as of 2021 September, now and you compare it to that of September 2022, there was about 23% increase, 23.7% to be specific. But between September and the end of the fiscal year, December, the finance minister conveniently does not tell us in nominal terms how much more of the debt has increased or has been added. What I say, and if you are presenting to us a review, so the idea is to present to us near AC by the end of the fiscal year. And if you reported all the way to September 2022, now you are giving us a review of what happened for the remainder of the year now. You should be able to tell us between September and December 2022, the debt stock was increased by this much. But conveniently, he quickly jumps to use data or reviewed GDP data for 2023 April. To say, given the revised GDP data as released by the Ghana Statistical Service in 2023 April, calculating the debt to GDP ratio as at the end of the fiscal year 2022 now, the debt to GDP stood at 71%. Even so, it's still very huge, but it kind of presents a lesser ratio. What must say? If you were to use the GDP data as was calculated in the previous year, no, you would see say the value or the ratio would be higher. But conveniently to use the value in 2023 and then to calculate that against the debt as was accrued in the last fiscal year, which gives you a lower ratio. And like I said, these are just tactics and theatrics.
But they are allowed.
They are allowed.
Of course.
As economic data, you can massage it any which way you want. But so long as you code the right figures, but you can pick and choose which ones you want to use and how you want to use them.
Okay, but remember Doka Kwaba, Upper Dentra, East, Doka Kwaba. But Obama Okasa Fidina show Medasi. Yes. But who ye dear? I see. Constituency is first time I'm in media Ubishia Obi. First time I'm in Constituency Boko. So we knew. Anyaboko. Oh.
It's an MPO. Pressure don't happen to me.
When him be free background because Anyaboko. That is the point. And sometimes I don't know why. As a sapao. The makers lawyer says a very good student. Very good student. Oh, China, the Obama graph rapporteur. Dog be Makwaba, not Anyaboko.
Oh. And they can't say a kind idea, a baby.
I don't know my thing.
It is said that I can't. Aha, was a constituency there. Oh, a larger constituency. I want some Maca Eddie, and I'm a whole studio. I can say area.
Tina Fina Matthias.
Once about 2 months.
So, what is your opinion about Galamsey? Galamsey, young Gemma locals no enye. No, nya say James Agake, but yen more makwenye bi no mutimi e mo makwenye.
Entina danado de community mining.
Enu kra na enye no.
Abado. Entino
Galamsey
ebetimi
enu kra na enye.
And there be mamun kan she tight corner.
Oni ye kan de bua no. Ye bua no.
There be the concept
mining ni bia.
I see.
But
Jimoshi.
I mean, you knew the impact of Galamsey. Apart from the mining on the landmarks, no, I said no, because it's one and it's money and and so into a serious impact.
But what kind of questions are into my own?
I made the institution the maker. Now, I would propose to now. When activities now
affecting issue no
issue ne dey o kana wato basket because ejuma su ne parliament e
hey oh a candidate no aka kede say o MPP.
Oh yes, unemployment.
I see.
The Ghana had more unemployment figures. We've done our very best as MPP government, but still high. Figure look at the number of students of movie school in a year. Poly, University, SSS. I mean, what do you put to your chest?
Put out every day. You probably does.
I absorb all. No, let's
even with our universities, no. Yes. There are hundreds of thousands in about.
We can graduation Gempa, Telecom University. Maybe
a lot of stress.
Yes. So, you know, Mama, I'm for politics and from when this comes to
reality, no.
Yes,
unemployment is a function of political decisions.
And you know,
we cannot take politics out of it.
It is a function of political decisions.
Yes, and you know, if it is yes, you say yes. If it is no, you said you.
So I'm born.
Yeah, near Ben Heritage, no. Yeah, near Ben Heritage, no. Na esopa. Na boy who modin bia. Nka banan ka necessary no nka ho am go fie no. Yeah. But what I'm telling you is that it's still not.
But they get clearance if a moment call for echo. I are careful. You're careful because I calculate most of the clearance, no. I think yes, the clearance affected among call.
You guys are focusing on public
sector. I think it drew attention to other areas, no. Oh, neutralizing. But the question said government clearance will be backlog. Let's be very fair.
You're clear, but what I'm telling you is
one ring in now would know. Now what is a meme I'm going to okay.
Lawyer,
You know
you.
it.
Dog, it's
Yeah.
But you see, the Munimzam obedience.
I'll see enjoy another couple.
No, I'm not on like not specifically
necessarily
to his
on
constituency,
okay.
but generally speaking, when him says the Galamsi Assembly, I try to be careful.
It's a national business.
On Abujitum.
Meaning your definition of be careful.
What I mean is is out of control. It's worse than it was before. Let me even be more.
You see,
much more clear.
Awareness creation also at me abua. Now, Uban constituency, at least first, no go do a year if my win suma. Everybody will
be a found.
Now, what are you specific?
So, don't go on off. So, don't go on off.
You know, see problem.
And then,
That's a tight constituency.
and then, who year Juma win suma?
Obia,
as Messi the way they
and yet,
who that's a quan cry. First, the committee have a quan come. But no, because of that awareness. Until you know,
oh, when you're yet now, so she see. That's the point I'm making. So it's out of control. Yeah. Oh, we can lament. As for lamentation, we lament on our own on daily basis.
Okay. On behalf of
program. Let me know. Or can't GDP?
Yeah.
Say, I mean, economic figures they'll be to me. I'm starting to suit you because of GDP. You know, our cost who divided the national debt by GDP. I know when you're lower ratio of 71%. But I'm happy so besides say. Yeah, and I say, is it done? Almost time the same thing. If you follow
so we will time now can there.
Yes, we know good time.
Lab chumba by NDC.
Yes,
somewhere
this is also. We be a GDP no. Yeah, revised GDP no. Amount debt to ratio no. It was around 70 to 80. It will back down to 56. And you know, 57 no. So it is accepted. And you'll be the best. Your time or say the GDP. Or try and say
no. The
finance minister must come to Parliament and give his media review at this time. As we are in July, so okay, so it's as if say.
When I say what I mean is you could have still used the GDP figures for last year.
Why?
To give you a proper picture of how the fiscal year ended, but that's fine. I mean, you are free to do that. It's not a problem.
When you're making a research, you can go by that tangent. Let me look at the GDP, debt ratio. Compare with the previous, the old. Exactly. The way I normal. Then all the figures. Now your various scenario and analysis. Your man in the media review statement. If now Babeka say last year to and what year then say no you say give us the states
mid-year no
yes mid-year what it is now and that is the GDP. So we are student research not to pursue who say the previous GDP no na low and this or apply no can who GDP debt to GDP no and I'm saying
that's a different matter.
That's a different matter. But at the time the minister was presenting his budget, what was the GDP? And and yet an issue say will be a manipulative figures to be announced. Is it allowed? Is it accepted? It is done. It is done.
Okay, so Doc.
No, the reason I make one say all presenting GDP figures for 2023. No, we've done 2 quarters. That's 6 months. But he was presenting figures for only the first quarter. So if he's giving us updated data, he should give it up to the end of the second quarter, which is June. What's my say? Because he's presenting in July.
Which data?
GDP data, no. It is quarter 1 data, no.
June and data.
Yeah, what July man I hear what that means.
And then last day of July.
Yes, the last day of July.
And getting the data for GDP doesn't take 1 week. And you are aware. You are very much aware. Even when we are preparing December, the November national budget, we don't even use September figures.
Mostly
September figure. But look at the time lag. That is 2 months. 2 months. So to say, well, August ending. Now, what can I say? I will agree with you. But July can't be ending.
So, and the finance minister about Parliament, Wabeka Sabibri. Diana officer what achieve for us as a country.
It's very simple because we share budget you're preparing now. That time you call IMF. So, and you know, you'll be a no post COVID-19 program for economic development program. And now I was saying, what me revise it? Yeah, end of year budget for 2020.
Asempa FM.
To be in line by taking into account the IMF na any other activities. Dosha revenue was revised. Expenditure was also significantly revised. We share your budget deficit now. It's like in the olden days now, it may achieve 5.7 no. Okay, it's COVID time, you cover 12, 13, 14 no. Per the revision now, the deficit is 5.7% of the GDP. We are almost close to the stability rate of 5%. So the revision it should be in line. Let me give you the actual figures.
Budget deficit is 10% or no? On cash basis. Cash basis is 10%. Commitment basis they are almost so crowded.
Oh, they do hold man now, so I can figure minimum budget deficit, whether you are using the cash basis or you are using the RS basis. You are revising the GDP rate. So growth rate from 2.8% to 1.5. Now oil growth from 3% to 1.5. And the inflation, you know, so you're also revising of 31%.
Page 7.
I know you're page 63 of the budget. But let me go to the revision of the total revenue. Total revenue in our that is so amano by 9 billion. Original budget is 143 billion. This year about 134. Out of that, non-oil revenue, they increase by 3 billion. And our total oil tax revenue, so and also your money also by 3 billion. Then the revenue from the upstream petroleum activities, about formed by almost 13 billion. Which as an about from it's not as a result of volumes of crude production, but because of the CD appreciation. At the time I prepared budget, the exchange rate was high, and we use the volume to multiply the exchange rate. Now the exchange rate has improved. There has been appreciation of the CD. Until significantly affected the total revenue and over expenditure. So yes, we tried. The expenditure was also reduced very significantly. We feel the total from 205 to 189. That's also a very significant. We have the various aspects of the expenditure. Compensation, for instance, the same. We feel interest payment as well. And also, yes, I'm an number form from 52 to 48. The goods of goods and services in there, Yamano, and maintaining your order. And I also revise the capital expenditure also down, also from 26 to 20. I can go on and on and on.
This discipline here as a result of IMF Ayongo Fanana.
Which aspect of the reduction we can?
Well, I'm saying that, yeah.
Oh, say it's obvious because we are very tight. And the capital expenditure there, you need to have it revised to reflect your total income stream. They say what you revise your total income stream by 9 billion. Capital expenditure so any remaining the same. Also, we are just certain expenditure you cannot tackle so much, like the compensation, statutory payment, and interest rate. But interest rate in like I said in Kwano, it means amano aba a form kakra interest rate in aba form from 52 to 44. That's almost 8 billion. And once you adjust your total revenue downwards in there, also we say all other expenditures so also my day
follow
about form. And so you'll be widening the deficit. A cover 10, 11, 12 hours. Now, to say that
are we expected to enjoy a certain stability now?
Sure, we have to. With this program in place, it means the government is now conscious about the expenditure. Say yeah, your money expenditure remaining the same year, you'll be comfortable. So we have not hit it, but it has been revised downwards. You have also revised your revenue downward. So you have to work within these parameters.
But so then 12 times ahead, though.
Well, when we say 12 times, it's different from stability. You ask me stability.
Exactly.
Are you now asking me a different question?
No, you stability there 12 times be better because all the Sanshi Shena Ebuaman maybe at Medina Huyino. Sanshi Sheni Muno.
Physical discipline.
That's where I'm coming to.
Physical discipline doesn't mean tough times ahead. You have to be physically disciplined.
Sometimes it would
a bigger impact.
No, yeah, of course.
Yes.
A bigger impact.
Yeah. To have impact. But so workers
we suspend or act no. Fiscal responsibility act no.
Oh.
And I'm no, said during COVID no, it was suspended.
Say suspended. It came to Parliament.
No, me guys say was in
Oh, because someone signed their ban.
And then doctor.
So now fiscal discipline.
That's a physical discipline and rate of 5%.
Yes, deficit.
You better hold them. We share 2022.
Yes,
sir.
They restore the act.
By 2024, we said by 2024, we'll get to that point. If you look at the trend analysis now, you put the projection there, so by 2024, also it achieves 5%.
No, but if
that's
the
where
but if there's a fiscal responsibility that forces you, you don't leave room for discretion.
That is where me pay piano kono.
Anything na ya share say by 2024 25 no.
Mo bedru.
You bedru.
Any one act number.
David. Act ba sikano mutumi.
Phase 2 am peso mo ye. Emba
act ba sikano mutumi.
Planning phase 2 na ngom bedru.
On December 2024.
Planting for food and
you see if they restore act no.
There's a shift from the old formula. Omode.
Budget. Your projection say, but 2024-25, or see it may do so.
Oh, every budget move. Look at your projected deficit for 2022. Yes. You projected 6.3% on commitment base. You ended up doing 11.2%.
Hey.
Yes. And to ask for projections there, you project in every budget.
Also, why
are you reducing downward your targets? Because when we say yes, your 2023
so
targets.
We have revised the revenue downwards. We have also adjusted the expenditure.
And American usually projections in Chile say, "Uka say by 2024 a bedroom." The fact say you've projected say by that time you would have achieved the 5% in Chile say you be, but some random babaka it will force you to achieve
but
it.
Are you ruling out there?
I'm not ruling it out, but I'm saying so that we have certainty. Bring back that act, restore the act. Then we will be confident 100% because mubu faswa we can cause for your prosecution. But as it stands now, if you go beyond the 5%, I shouldn't see.
We'll bring it back.
Okay, so you're man trying to come. Who's on the car say?
No, what goes now?
No, make because number 2 here me. Beyond stability, no. Yeah, expect to say. You better say me a belt mu be man. I want to say that's all I want to understand.
Well, stability is just the beginning.
Because beyond stability,
what next?
What next? That's all I'm asking for.
It's a critical question to ask.
Yeah.
They can't bring to me answer. No.
Neither na bopa say compare doctor me no
on try. Me say no mo try. But
if you look at the macroeconomic indicators now, we shall compare to December up to date, all the parameters in show a favorable trend. And that yes. Give it inflation, interest rate, the CD is doing very well. Even policy rate currently though is high. But I'm very certain that the next few quarters, Bank of Ghana will be compelled to bring the policy rate down to match with the interest rate. Because their top T-bill are 30-40% now. And then I will say policy rate now to 20-something%. I know ever down. I know in the next few months, it will come down. And no bad down one. Then the cost of doing business in this country will be very low.
Exactly. That's where
we're going to bring that comfortability as I'm watching now. Among for people so that is the clear.
It's more taking care of a local industry players. No more taking care of them because insurance say wronger. A buyer so direct.
Until they revise revenue because affected when they see the depreciate So it affected the local industries hugely. Because like I said, even the national debt to cry, no, yeah, added almost 100 billion to it because of the city depreciation. In a private, the import base is so huge. And you know, it affects you. But since you know, I started appreciating it there. At least that feasibility and comfortability, you know, it will hold on. But we are hoping that by the end of the year, we are expecting the policy rate because the banks are lending based on the policy rate. Januna or say a bad down pay. Now the cost of doing business, you know, are low. A pass that there is means that we are all there individually. Cost of inflation rate will also be coming down. So if you have your interest rate coming down, if you have your inflation also coming down, you have your city also appreciating. These three parameters, put them together, it's equal to comfortability in life.
Okay, so my finishing with planting for food and job, no. I've just been forwarded from the ministry. Omo the data number and what after reading this out, no. I'm sure somebody maybe almost free, but any the revised version. But doc doctor we answer. Wadaroma maybe enko off a bit. War constituency or no. We are aware of a meter challenges be a cause. We are aware of that. Meter challenges. As meter ECG, we are aware of that.
Meter is a national problem.
A national problem.
But when you severally say people are abusing it, taking advantage of it into quite baba or constituency.
Almost every committee be our me. The person be no in here extension. And you am small because you are more lighter. The yellow sufficient do some point to be a no you could no air trade. Air trading in a no. I'm not supposed to sit down. I'm not supposed to sit down with them. I'm here extension. Post I was with a pursuit. Post no and now by you so I was so to me meters near day. It me a bubble.
I saw the command service lines answer.
Yes.
And some
minimum meters is here to one because here to a year MP crew 1012 or more complaining man.
Almost 2 meter and 1200.
Not with your consent too. But they've complained. Yeah.
Let me because 5 committees be more light. You supply almost 3,000 meters. Free.
Shep one.
Yes.
Yes.
Almost one share how the meter check. But a bit of making you
unpopular. Shep projects, no, and the Shep, the meters are very, very, very cheap. It's less than 1 cedi per meter.
Yes, almost free.
And the Shep. So normally, or no year MP, no, can say instead of you paying that 80 pesos or 800 pesos, it's then the meters will give it to you for free. So Shep meters are very cheap. You know, I used to be at an agency. Shep very cheap, but. Baby and your shop no and they definitely you pay. Expect to pay high, obviously. But normally yana from saying so go boys is a middleman for anybody and a man because the actual figure is so tiano. Now no share to so that to be who maybe an academy once but we are going now afford 2 cities.
Okay. So it depends on the kind of interaction so also no constraints now.
Oh yes, and is
the frequency of that interaction is key.
Because it was critical. MTN for the baby library. Now it's mixed another 1.1 meter. But meeting can say property meter free. You know, because all the assessment you pay almost 1,200 visa. Into some
and going to be a single face, no.
The other areas no. I'm the sum ache. Assume there you
Papa.
Street light. What do you say, sir? Car way. Half one now or light.
Now opposite.
And to know then they say they will pay. Now Omotia. No.
Okay.
Yes.
So at this moment
it's a problem that we have.
What do we have to say? The Dr. Kasufa, then we can move into another area of conversation.
The okay in and the market and me book on same yawa. The book not to change. You ever going to look at the ordinary man standard. Dr. Baumia can ordinary man standard which Was it there's no economy than your pocket? GDP, why inflation, the ever inquiring go see or my your both figures in another to do a team crew much more jumpman in the may some and so add the AK 1 Tiasian. The understanding to GDP in economy is in the bottom. That's what we made us understood. Now I say no economic gymnastic can ever change that rhetoric. It's economy in any bottom. And is a what bottom number to you about more and one woman. The dog who can on your bottom. Bottom. Ah, that I know not my Mr. 100%. And I know bottom. And is a woman number. Dear Tia can I can't go and go and never him out. That you didn't know what the other bottom 5 cities gradual.
Your man was in Egina. I'm a wonder of fire. Opima concan as on mine, competing with others. Now, may move for no one hurry on based on the figures I will churning out. Wow. See, the bribia than your Piagun chance na inflation as sebi EBD. Na when you
can't say inflation, but inflation in bar. It means what it simply means in that in the simplest as in say animal boying.
But that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
that.
But I don't know. The maker and I make candy assist what my point time by quoting by me and say any money born by your foot. Inflation number from one knife. Not the only sky when button. How can the person still buy? You can buy. But she say go aquema emani padu one harama. If you read in and out, any positive hope. My better now catch us any not in the growth rate target in a crash. That was a deal bit me achieve. Uncle Capoya, emani problem. Now Poyana one can and these are the best managers in the Kutawan. Now what else like? Best managers in the Kutawan or no man want to don't meet. Ah, now because I'm the can hear any incompetent one. When your best managers, when Muna Mizaya, no. Do you understand the Mizaya? Do a Joe crown if we woman and we hear Mamma Niemu or bar, maybe be a hobby as dear or no function should ma. If you are saying for na saying you mean call him moi. Okay, Jan never toy who as realistic budget. What you
yes.
But I don't know why. You see, I don't ever want to. Yeah, dog who didn't come. Say when we are faced with the reality, let's go by it. You can implement as especially Mofra channel out of ABC Mofra. Yeah, don't for Mufri University APA. Reality is that now we are confronted as a country with that. How do we solve that problem? Both the private and the government. How do we solve it? The reality here is that, as I say, I buy no more digu aquemono. Nka pesi ebedu se ampepensuwi. Eno ma bia beka ho. Ana buy na nkasa so mre in terms of a certain level of mismanagement so. Epia na tikwa ka ho. You agree to these factors? Enima ben sa na afisa ba beka ho. In your opinion? Ghana ye oman a ye ne ye ho. Very good. So we know we have our sovereignty. Assistance now. Our sovereignty has not been taken away. So because of our reliance with other people. Exactly. Fine. You and what you know. So when you say I didn't so be boy COVID. Be boy chima. Why do you want to run away from that? I will always run away from that. The number of years, the number of years we can talk about. But let's establish it. Of course, let's establish that. I will always have issues with that. When you quote that so-called external factor issue. And you so-called though. Maybe I call you with a fino. Kwabna. And man go for him nada. When they go to one doors. What would that? And what you did? Send money we are no kuno. And then buy me a good so my relative. Now listen. We are not disputing the fact of COVID and as a COVID by. I mean, this is as they will say a local knowledge. Everybody knows this. COVID came. Now the next thing is that the impact of COVID. Now there are two sides to everything. When talk of impact, there are positive impacts, there are negative impacts. Have you heard this government citing the positive impact before? What is that? Like money that you had that you never anticipated for. Money certain money that were even in this country, and I go to me for certain amount, you cannot go for it. certain funds that were created by the John Dramani Mahama government. Now a cap to about $100 million or so. By virtue of COVID, the movement is Samra, a changing a movie treasure no cost me kofakes. Did you ever anticipate all those things?
We still have the COVID levy, right?
Yes.
COVID levy because you was Joe. What the buyer? From the Tuncheng, Shesika World Bank for my $430 million. I buy body crash and was seeing about a we got so senior, you know, you see, I made a point to say, Jimmy, no, there are two sides. There is the negative side and then the positive side. I'm now may highlight the positive side. Never, I'm more income, and I make a magana 40, and I'm Mukanda. Mukambia, the movies are uncle Yamamono pen and Amboso. Besica Munya move west, no. So I said COVID, I can't I wasn't in Ghana to that COVID, but maybe just at the later part, and I think I will get the election, not more free, almost. I mean, the Sabbath Sunday, you'll be able to send. So now, Sabre Nimuno, Namu said, I never quite cost one, not just in Ghana, even in the Western world, and I said, work from home.
Oh, yeah, free.
So most of the I don't do a mayor of Britain, and most of them I work
Ghana experience with the said Triauka.
What's say?
The said Triauka, if you need Triauka.
Japomaca.
Yes, you said Triauka. And I'm saying, experience be that.
Teacher Nima can go to 1 month. 3 weeks. Utiana Castle.
The front line workers in
the I am asking you a simple question. I didn't know what teacher Nima when you doctor.
We are aware that the front line workers in the business.
Are you also aware that there were people who were not supposed to be front line workers, but they took money from the COVID?
That conversation we can have.
We are having it today. What are you having?
We can have it.
You have it in the yard.
Along the line. But we should take them up. But we are even going to talk about the irregularities that comes up.
What does it? So who can front line? There were people who were not supposed to be front line, but in your books they were front line.
And you will be informed. So you know,
if
you're interested in what the law has done to those personalities, has
the law done anything to them?
It keeps doing.
Has the law done anything to those people? The COVID audit report by Beponden. One more who said no one front line for I just can be a deal. Messini your target curtains was saying I can
maybe retrievals are banana away because who's a graphic front page, you know. Retrievals amounting to about 15
from which fund? Retrievals on which funds?
Okay.
Sikaben Anna a year ya retrieve a wouldn't say Biaba. I bodin. COVID didn't become one. About your contact actually from the COVID levy. Watch out.
Who procurement basically?
Watch out, you see, let us not be deceived, though. Senior, what
you procurement?
You had a minister telling you said your board is there. Was he entered into the contract? We didn't think properly before entering into the contract. The same minister, Ministry of Health, Accra ambulances per the report. But tear part of the money to the company so on supply ambulances. Kabashimene.
Ebisine.
See a TI ambulance and no. Yesika no. Now could try to do a sabita for a and some Vienna and Car. Want to Macau.
Tis a word in a call.
Want to Macau. This is the government that we are talking about. Very insincere. What do you know? My young put what you do. I'm on one. They are only interested in sucking us. And
sucking
they are sucking. Sucking.
Doctor draw attention. Doctor
No.
That's how we are lawyer.
Hold on now. Mankind has a law word in this country. Me say, me say, why now when you say you want to there's no person.
Retrievers behind the
scene.
Okay.
Come on, I don't count. Your body, I say, the graphic was angry. Covid, I know what you. Now, I don't no more chess can among party members.
Oh, sure.
They were sharing the money to their party members. I'm telling you.
The term for it, I like They
were sharing the COVID money to themselves. Yes. Right?
Stories like
me mama story be. Now if you come as neighbor. Okay, I say ECBA 1 day slot for na you feel be by trade in say or my just 1 day so be even the one person trade because much never be here. That then me ban a kwan mu na bobe I think around 2. I feel me do sino. And I'm here say maybe na me kase me bedu akra, o tell you bedu akra na be na nkofu ya point. And my mention me because I was in the room. Ti my mention why unfortunately me nimba be na EC office wo. And I'm confirm me ko pie mu assembly because normally na wadwen say be we find them around the same place, you know. Me call assembly office wo osino. I want the district capital for Fanjakwa South. Say me ko pe me din akotwe kwabra. Me do am park me car pe. Me be see from a pen abranti me kwa minim tama me sha na minim say wo free another community for Odunase. No ba me kan no o chia me. No introduce no say no MPP coordinator. Tieni o. MPP coordinator say rank be say any MPP ma. The German say be say any. Was so MPP coordinator. And ba na say okay na mpatwa assembly no so me be head na so me be tro me din. No so that be had there one more be sika no. Tieni. But I saw a long queue of people. A man remember salary bebre. Oh, I don't know. Honorable. I've mentioned who came to me. Me say an MPP coordinator came to me. Eti, o man take it your liberty. With the family they come can to check. There was an audio that leaked.
And I think you draw my attention to an audio.
It was leaked from Sabulu and Azadeng.
And he's been taken on.
Parliamentary candidates and a chairman.
And I'm saying he's been taken on.
By who?
Who is taking who?
Who is taking who?
Categorically.
Yaman is guys who go cheni.
Na ade AC.
PC and a chairman will be ade onya be body.
Telephone mutie me no mo friend.
They were sharing the COVID money to themselves.
If Omutu say,
I am telling you, my na some me can. Sana me na mboa on what track be from Tamale. So some me want to so bwana.
So let's get
yeah. What's happening?
But the point is that the money was not meant for that.
Nothing of that.
The money was not meant for that.
That is why
under COVID era,
the people they are involved to be
and the minister is still at post. Which
one? The health minister.
The health minister. Sputnik V has accounted for it. Procurement I the man conform we are testing. Airport. And also was embassy. So who is going to hold who responsible?
Right? I think sometimes anyone boy has a specific reference to some of the things that we are talking about.
What is that?
Maybe a copy of this report. Who say? Kwanda local government ministry there. Who say? Yeah, okay. The Ministry of Health, the Impona, okay, I don't know. Yeah, the ministry.
Okay.
What question? I think what remember. I'll just give you something.
We've been talking about buying Nyoma and Koyin as if and they need to rationalize expenditures. What him say Sagleme. Meanwhile, can want some crowd harder. It's a government investment. Yeah. What him say Marco Pokwase wants another house.
Yeah, Pokwase. Sagleme, is it not because maybe sir? Yeah. And at
the point they said they wanted to sell it out
to private people. For private people to
exactly, they are still working to sell it out. What was it? And now,
Dr. Pachobem. Dr. Pachobem.
No, I said I can want them. No, this is the right time because media. Very good.
Calm down. We want to.
I want a new topic.
Health. This
is paragraph 109 under Ministry of Health.
Yeah.
See, we observed that the Ministry of Health, the ministry, paid 10,309,119.94 as premium for special life insurance cover for 10,000 health workers and allied health professionals working on the COVID-19 pandemic without any life insurance policy document. Two.
Any life insurance policy
document. One. And then detailing the beneficiaries, the allocations, the next of kin in case of any death or whatever. And the question is, is that how you distribute it? and guess the companies are ekwaje say skara yetua say skara mbodi unu companies yetua ma omo de onya akasipa wo mu enterprise life insurance.
So my interest continues to be after some of these things now, what do we do?
What does it?
Do we
nothing. They don't do anything.
Maybe for
they're not
now.
doing anything.
Maybe for now.
That's what I'm saying. But
because
No,
look, and I keep saying that we shouldn't wait for the next government to prosecute.
We should do it now.
Exactly. Yeah,
there's no ball to do that.
Now the next government would be saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting Crawford and investigating Crawford who are alleged to have committed wrongs.
I think sometimes you see this country to when your NDC need loyalty here, Auditor General report no then you break go and make referrals to what has happened to this country.
Exactly.
Auditing. So sometimes as a country,
and American,
you have a problem, and we take advantage of each other.
Yeah, we do.
It's no baby original. How else you scream money bro so as if say and then the Auditor General report but say but now is way no you see that's what I'm saying that I'm looking for how do we kill off some of these reoccurrences. Every day is coming. We seem to be disengaged or disabled.
But one second. I'm sure we are talking about something that aban we see enu na di ninya.
Enu na di ninya.
That is COVID. Was enu na di ninya enna mana nkore ne enna mana ni.
Ana sinto we apie.
Ana musika wonya ya manfo de adom aban ne se geba wo ho bra COVID abanti.
Ehun susu aba.
What the sika no e de abosan sabra.
Okay.
And you think we cannot mention it?
Asansa bra de enye ayi papa.
Na
kan asansa bra.
Na
Oba ni na me kan say yetia e complaining
lawyer have you asansa bra de enye de papa.
Yes you COVID ni Ukraine na say for consider ben and talk on enjoy you. Now Aban is claiming that there is recovery. Now Ukraine and Russia they are still fighting. It tells you say the way to recovery no and problems are a woman no and yet necessarily and are largely because of Russia and Ukraine and talk on.
The Russia and Ukraine any sufficient reason for us.
I sat down to do some brief analysis. What is the direct effect of Sahara Ntokoyi on Ghana? First, what are the imports are air affected? And what are the other things that are affected that directly impacts your economy? Ebimuka fertilizer and if you look at how much fertilizer we import from Russia and Ukraine is almost negligible compared to other places that are importing fertilizer free. That is one. Two, grains. Yaka wheat. Ghana for the reason wheat. Woody wheat.
Oh, there.
On
Bare 4 months. Bare 4 months. And look at diet change.
Yeah. What I say. So if you look at wheat consumption in this country, it's so low compared to a place like Egypt. Omudia, you can say that directly, how because they consume something that directly comes from Ukraine, Russia, wheat. Ghana, our consumption of wheat is very small compared to other grains that are consuming. So the import of grain into this country from Russia, energy, any Russian can to petroleum products. In fact, a lot of the petroleum products are importing from the Middle East. People are even importing, crude and refined products from Russia. Ghana, what they do is that they route it through other countries. Now, bedruha. Impact, but it's not as significant as the managers of this economy are making us believe it is. Usha, I was just looking at some of the figures, and I feel say, look, when the finance minister was giving us an update on the fiscals, when it comes to cedi depreciation, the currency has depreciated, and I'm talking about the currency against dollar. Usha in 2022, I'm trying to, it has just disappeared, but I'll get it again. Usha, I think it's around 20 something percent as at now compared to last year, which was 30%. It tells you that the currency is still underperforming, and once we currency underperforming, the way no boy bending, and honorable made an allusion to BB. Part of your public debt rising is because of size exchange rate in some semi. Because when you borrow, you don't borrow in Ghana cedis. I'm talking about external.
The interest rate keeps building,
and it's in dollars. So if you're and the legal tender in this country is cedi, and to go to yeah, as Ghana cedi, no, the
legal tender is cedis
in this country. What's the dollars?
No.
But it's illegal. Illegal tender.
Let's not bring Cecilia Dapa in this conversation. It will be unfair.
How is it unfair?
And I'm saying that.
Yeah, $1 wanted them.
Now $1 on the illegal tender. Is that the country taking illegal
tender? It's an illegal tender.
Yeah.
It's a currency, alright, but it's an illegal tender.
What makes it even illegal? What makes it illegal?
You cannot spend the currency we spend in this country is not dollars.
But that's what I'm saying, sir.
So if you are spending dollars, it's illegal.
But one who saw spending dollar. If dollar is found in a room,
and bank
there's a certain limitation
of certain room decorations. Dollars, not the room decorations.
No, in Casa, but no, I'm saying that.
Anyway, that's just by the way. The exchange rate is still not doing well. And to the extent, and even our growth,
cumulatively, the performance against all these things.
And we've revised downward in target to 1.5, which as we say, the projected outcome might even be way lower. So if you you have a target, say me bomb me home say by the end of the fiscal year, me per se at least main in cry 1.5. What must say? That's the target. So it's the minimum. But there's a possibility, say, over to me. Like you can go beyond that, but the likelihood say a year less is higher. Essence say anchor, you look at your trend, like your growth trend, and I will share factors now push growth. Now when we say look in the next 2 quarters now be a factors now ma economy no atumpo, there is a likelihood say be 1, 2, 3 factors touch makakra until me my the target na yeset until let's revise it from 2.8 to 1.5. Which means that it is likely say 1.5 no krawunya. What you say? So if we are saying say economy says here the recover and you are likely to record a lower growth rate, and let's just say we are still not off. We are still not like I can example. We are still not away from the trouble. We are still within the remits of the trouble. But the other issue and I spoke about seglement. Niente amika and say, look. You are in trouble, so you rationalize your expenditure. Bro, for economists would always say. And they say, if you are in a tight hole like we are, in a deep hole like we are, either you increase your revenue, which is difficult to do, and you rationalize your expenditure. Now, we are introducing new expenditures. And Tinamika said, look, what is the objective? We want to increase housing. You was sagleme, ye no esi ye see ye tuntonama ankrankrafo. Na ye ko start another one so ewo kwasi esikasem na ye ke esika na ye. At the end of the day, government is going to incur yet another cost trying to put up another one in Pokwasi. Abran ye sika bebre in Saglem ye we don't even know the state of it right now. And now honorable can be about Saglem say those who start. I am not for a minute saying say holding brief for anybody who played a role in the mess in Saglem should be held responsible whether we end this new MPP and found. But my point is, as we should be able to find some closure to that issue before we can move to the next. But we are doing splinter projects. Esan says, you see, Nentia, a lot of the time, politicians are accused of corruption. They say, when you do a lot of projects, Bibintina ebimu eye projects, not necessarily.
Now you are speculating.
No, Miba, no. You see,
Ususu say Saglimena kao yenwe. Entino adentina nkebe ye pass e be we Saglimen komo answer esika ho akwatwe no. Yasa akwa dibiasa akwa ye pokuase de na bibia it interest be na wo ma wo
procurement bebem. No, ye procurement. Min can so be this
we move from Saglame. Pokuase.
Yeah.
Saglame problems na e wo hodo na be heritage. Until last year.
Didn't you spend some more money on Saglem?
Minister of Works and Housing, you buy a year of valuation. Tell me, heritage. Sika now, and this alcohol and the valuation of my year. the gap no. And Ama,
You see,
hold on.
Attach just spent money on Sagleme.
Say okay, say
On Sagleme.
who person who do side with the private sector to now. And be affordable if
But which government project has ever been affordable?
this Popokwasi project here, I'm some idea. You don't even know the funding. No, you should be able to know. Tell us. But
It's
it's
not
not
government-
It's going to increase government what?
Is it not Ministry of Works and Housing here?
Oh,
You've and now your time is a private enterprise.
do you know the source of funding?
It doesn't matter. Once it is government of Ghana doing it, at the end of the day, it comes back to government. Once a government of Ghana project, you know, whether Nipani is going to borrow a government of Ghana revenue, a government
I'll urge you to find out the source of funding before you.
No, when you say source of funding, who? Is it the Ministry of Works and Housing?
My doctor.
Okay.
I just wanted to learn. The question is, which institution is responsible for that project?
I say works and houses and so many projects.
But your Ministry of Works and Housing is it not a government wing? Is it not a government ministry? What I say, and if it is a government of Ghana institution now, their budget and their expenditure is funded from the consolidated fund. Whether abai akobo bisiaba, ana abai edu enwan revenue at the end of the day, abai nebo huka. Unless you are telling me, say, Ministry of Works and Housing is only, saying, say, it's for facilitator, not private institution.
So by close of tomorrow, by this time, you know where the source of funding is. I will not go.
When you say source of funding,
yes,
which is
it has nothing to do with government expenditure.
No, is it a government of Ghana project or not?
If you want to come and speak on that, do research on that and know the source of funding.
The question is it a government of Ghana project or not?
It's not.
Then very well. Then why are we even talking about that being an affordable housing project? Say government is bringing an affordable housing project.
Is it not the government that is spearheading it?
And when you say spearheading, how do you mean?
Because if you look at the cost of the entire project, it's running into millions of dollars, about 8,000 or so housing units. The government will have to do maybe some rules and restrictions here and there, making the land available for the private sector to develop up, and it's being shared for about 5 or so contractors. I don't want to go into that.
When there is a lot of there is lack of clarity in what he's even saying. Say, but 5 contractors. When you say contractors, why am contractors? Are buying contractors or not?
There be minimum contractor back okra.
No, contractor. Who is a contractor?
Dominic.
Is Obia Miwe Juma, and I'm contracting you to execute that project. What is here? You become a contractor working for me.
You build, you own, you sell. Yes.
You said BOT is not you build, own, and sell.
Yes.
BOT is build, own, and transfer.
Yes.
Is that the arrangement?
No, build, operate, and transfer.
No, you see, you can build, operate, and transfer. Yeah.
So you operate at some point.
Yeah.
And what you carry, then you transfer back to the state.
Yes. Is that what you're saying?
I want to let you know, say, it's not 100% government funded, and
so now we have moved from it is privately funded to not 100%.
Government commitment. I know catch you. As I say, acquiring this animal. No, but Okasa. I think Okasa Uti. I'm saying that. Yeah.
Or you want me to be shouting?
No.
We have to discuss.
Yes. So I told you. Government commitment. Government commitment to provide an you
see, I don't mean Tiasi. When you say the role of government is to create rules, provide land. What you say? Government provides land. That's some form of equity. Are you saying, I buy I'm a private owner. You see, what are you talking?
We are looking at affordability, and if you look at the price of this unit, some are going for $8,000.
8,000.
I'm telling you.
$8,000.
Yes, you see, you are here. I'm saying, you see it.
$8,000.
By tomorrow, we will give you the details.
8,000.
We have
8,000 are okay. 8,000.
The highest of the figures were about 42,000 for a 3-bedroom or whatever.
3-bedroom.
Yes, we have studio, we have 2-bedroom, we have 3-bedroom, we have 4-bedroom.
Okay, studio, yes, studio, no, no,
by tomorrow, I don't want to.
It's not even up to 100,000.
I don't want to preempt it. That's what I'm saying. By
This is more than affordable.
You decide details, you know,
but say beyond 8,000, you cannot go beyond. Hey, also the old Casama. I am painting picture to say $8,000 beyond 8,000. It's a call for me.
What I said, $1,000 go. And last week, what's $7,000 go
for dying? Who thought dying?
$8,000.
Messi on for last week, no,
if you are going to the US, how much do you put in your pocket?
2,500.
And how should you put
na me ko tra guide
you
there be na na mo dey was
something.
Is it the wo
Russia Ukraine war no. What kind direct impact? There was a direct impact on the Ghanaian economy. But they also who say about importation we don't only import from Ukraine. In the impact of the war also affected. If we are still, I mean, until normal Ghana had more, they be partner young import. Inflation of course so that high no. They import to meat, they import to wood, they import to fish, cereals. No, so where are we importing them from?
From Brazil and
China?
Argentina.
Is it China or US?
No, Brazil and Argentina.
All those countries were all affected. I'm telling you, they were all affected. And inflation rate was so high. Until imported inflation. You see, China and the India, the Turkeys and the rest are imported no money now. Inflation were quite high.
So our inflation was imported, or is imported inflation?
It's partial. Yes, we imported everything. Until no matter who say because we don't import oil or cereal so much from Russia, you know, we no intimate impact everywhere so.
The impact is just minimal.
Of traffic
the impact is not something that is so gross.
What is your definition of minimal impact? What is the definition of that?
You see, what kind of sad then it
I don't know man sit down tie point even. They be out there am tie na ebem.
I'm saying the free fa.
Man we na say okay.
Into China, was China or is China heavily affected by the Ukraine-Russia war?
China's inflation at the time?
No. What was it?
Because Ghana don't we import from this in China?
No, I'm asking you, what was the rate of inflation?
I think
you can check. Historical rate of almost 200%.
China is now experiencing this inflation. Almost price is now performed to the point that it's moving to negatives.
The fact that today and almost inflation.
Money really point why.
Figures here established on Harmon. And figures are historic figures from last year to this time. Inflation to me can say a normal look if an importer want to start importing now. Or best start establish CLC, or best start be normal before embrace market in over 6 months. So you can't use the current China interest rate alone or inflation rate. And most of the countries that Ghana was importing from now inflation echo high. Yes.
Honorable see Ukraine the effect
I've it me come
there me come doc wrap up my doc wrap up my doc wrap up
Anthony friends and
honorable
no more present here there man nya tenasi yeah
very realistic so very realistic budget. Yeah, who's a conditioner 2019 COVID program you're calling, or say come out of a program for economic development.
That's true.
Now, if the program economic development is bad, that's obese, you know, and yet stable, you will just be deceiving the public. And in the wisdom of the finance minister, say, okay, look, certain targets are you can and yet realistic. Let's revise them down. We assemble the beam the woman. We just say also get me about in some finance minister said for being bold. Love say you are reducing your most times when you talk about media but the reviewer if you say them you about this kaka.
No, sometimes you supplement.
He said he's going to borrow.
Yeah?
he's going to borrow.
Supplementary budget counting ebi mo fi say.
But this time there's no supplementary budget. Last year too, the same thing. There wasn't any supplementary budget. You try to work within. Once we already see revenue, you also have to reduce your expenditure. And then a bit the physical stability now, it will achieve. Until Yama Ghana, the realistic budget for us to work on. And we are hoping the interest rate, the inflation, and all the city also to continue to appreciate. Then the benefit, when we are preparing 2024 budget, that is where we are going to scale up all these parameters and economic growth. Look, we are in this country, we achieved the highest GDP growth before. And what? Yes. We achieved it before. And when they say much more achievable, but one single year, the following year, mobile. This is negative.
It was negative.
Yes.
From Abba.
Yeah, we can't what yes, the communication director.
But no, this issue I think that you guys should take up.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID once many. When him say, if an issue is going to be like if results are going to result from an issue. Okay.
What is the
Ministry of Health in some say? Munim say, Munina Mweja, Ndina.
Oh, and so Bianca.
Yet, Hannah, we are still complaining that the exchange rate still I was low. Our currency is depreciating. Abrayetimi kwenye sika pudwa millions of dollars. It will be them. How do you expect? It's the problem of exchange rate, you know. And it's a problem of, it's a supply side problem. You see, the exchange rate problem is a supply side issue. Say, forex na yen here need to do no in circulation. If you have 10 of Sicilada pass in this economy, the exchange rate will suffer. I mean, your currency will suffer.
That's the reality.
That's the reality. If one person can hold over $1 million,
are you changing the topic to Sicilada pass?
Doctor,
look at the causes of exchange rate. And then last week, of Abachi Jako, I can't send be. Munsem Trofo, what are you doing about it? He raised very serious issues. You have not